games at least for this week. Maybe someone gets here. It's not really the best schedule, but so much stuff in there. I have no idea where the mana potions came from. Probably just switched out my bar from where's the Obsidian? Anyways, I haven't actually been able to talk to RPGs for a couple days, but I'm assuming she was looking forward to another building stream. Welcome to the stream. It's just building today, but we're here, and I kind of have a schedule worked out for this week on things, but not entirely. As far as any schedule goes, I don't have time, so I just have games. The games for this week, at least, that is looking like at the moment that I'm going to play are this. It's going to be this game, it's going to be World of Final Fantasy, and apparently Kingdom Hearts 3 got a lot of views, so I'm probably going to play that one or two times this week as well. As for today, it's this. Tomorrow I'm going to do World of Final Fantasy again because I already said that yesterday now. Tuesday I will probably do Kingdom Hearts. Wednesday I'm either going to take a break for myself since I've been streaming every day for about 2 weeks straight now, or I will play a random game if I get a bit too bored and decide to stream it for you guys. It'll either be one of the three that I already have planned, or I might just try another game. So, Thursday is probably going to be more World of Final Fantasy. Friday is either going to be building in Portal Knights, or just something to do in Portal Knights, whether it's hard mode or something, just to have some fun. Saturday is either going to be World of Final Fantasy, or Kingdom Hearts again for another stream. And then Sunday, if we're still not done building this hotel, Sunday will probably end up being another build stream. But when it comes to Portal Knights and building this massive thing, I have no clue. I have no clue what the actual plan is right now. I adjusted my mic. I am talking louder than normal and trying not to mumble, but I adjusted my mic so it goes a little bit easier for people to hear me compared to last stream as well, because when I adjusted it for the power outage that I had like a week ago, I think I made it a little bit too quiet, but I can always adjust it again if people say that I'm too loud now. So. As far as any games that are probably going to get added into the cycle, the only one I know about right now is possibly Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. If anyone has anything that they actually want to see me stream though, and I actually have the game and can do so, I'll try and do it for you, even if I'm not the biggest fan of the game, as long as I have it, because it's something people would want to see. Honestly, I didn't know until yesterday that I would be adding Kingdom Hearts 3 into the mix, because the off-stream, after-stream views for Kingdom Hearts went up by like 5 or 6 views in the last day and a half, so apparently people wanted to see that, even though a lot of people didn't show up for the initial stream of it. So I'm gonna add it, and if it goes well, it goes well. If not, then, you know, people can watch it after stream if they want to. I won't be offended. people have left, you know. But at least I have some kind of miniature schedule worth of games for this week at least. Like I said, temporary as it is, but and I don't really have times, you know. If I stream between 11:30 in the morning and 1 p.m. Eastern time usually. Today I got a little bit of a late start due to having to get groceries myself in real life. I'm sure no one really cares that much because groceries are a thing. But yesterday I started early because I was, well, I woke up like 2 or 3 hours earlier than I intended, so I ended up starting stream 2 or 3 hours early. I did stream for just about the same amount of time, if not a lot longer yesterday. I think I went for 8 hours and 19 minutes or something like that. We had to clear out the Great Bridge in World of Final Fantasy, and I chose to continue on after we got past Alexander and did the railroad graveyard as well. And both of those areas are really big, so I actually wasn't able to do as many chapters as I intended yesterday because the game is getting a lot longer now. But I think we're through a lot of that game already, from what I remember. We have 3 keys, at least. We have the Dark Key, we got the Earth Key from Figaro and Vivi, and we got the initial key that you're supposed to get from something else that I don't remember. I think we got it from the Bomb King, the first Bomb King that we fought in the volcano area. But I could be completely off about that. I'm still wondering when they're going to introduce the electrical enemies, like I keep mentioning during it, because I haven't seen them yet. And having Thunder or Thundara from an actual Mirage instead of having to buy a Thundara seed for 20k in that game is going to be very useful. I mean, I've already proven that off stream on my other save that it's going to be very useful, but I think I left this on stream yesterday at the, I think it's pronounced Quacho. They call them Quachos, but their name actually has like an extra part to it. I think I left this at the underwater temple there to start stream on Monday, which there's going to be a lot of shark walls and stuff. So thunder and everything will come in really, really handy. I'm just not sure where to get it at the moment. And by thunder, I mean just thunder attacks in general. I have a thunder seed, I just don't want to use it. But the real attack that I need in World of Final Fantasy to make things go a little smoother would be Thunderbolt, because that is the equivalent of Mishiba and Bebliz's Ice Storm, but thunder. And it would wipe out a lot of enemies that I seem to have trouble killing because of not having thunder on anything. I'm still enjoying myself with the game though, when I do play that game. So I hope everyone else is too, because it's really funny and fun game to play. Even if it is just, you know, kind of like Pokemon meets Final Fantasy. Hopefully I don't stop playing Portal Knights. I think it's always going to be in the mix somewhere, because it's Portal Knights, you know. The only problem with it is I'm really running out of things to do on it. So if anything, we're just going to end up running hard modes and stuff after the Obsidian is built and all good to go. I do hope RPGs gets in here at some point so we can actually finish more than just the walls today, because that'd be a very short stream if all we could do is the walls. Like I mentioned, I tried to get a hold of her on PSN, and she hasn't responded lately. I think she's been running a lot of hard modes with other people for streams since I've been doing other games. I am sorry for those people who always want to see Portal Nights, and that being the reason they followed me. It's just, you know, this game's limit is your imagination, and I've pretty much done everything, broke the game, played through it 5 or 6 times already for story purposes, and, you know, now I'm doing the one creative thing I could think of for building. So, you know, eventually you run out of stuff to do, even in a game like this. It just is a thing. I would love to keep playing the game for you guys, and obviously when I get the Druid DLC, I will gladly make a Druid build. I will play through the story as a Druid. I'll play the Druid through everything under the sun in the game, probably. But after that, I'm just not gonna know what to do. Hi. I'm not actually sure how to say your name. I'm sorry about that, but I just really don't want to mispronounce it. We are just kind of building today. Well, I'm building by myself right now, but not really a lot going on today with the stream. You're always free to watch stuff, follow, and, you know, let me know what you want to see too if you pop in there. So, can always do other games. I can always try and squeeze in a second stream during the day if the first one goes a little bit slower, like a build stream. Got nothing really else to do, so just need some suggestions, honestly, because my only limits right now are PS4 and the games that I have, which I have like 30 to 50 games. So if there's stuff people want to see, all they gotta do is say something. I would love to be able to ask, you know, everybody that watches my streams, but getting everyone that watches my streams in here at the same time is kind of hard at the moment. But yeah, hopefully the Obsidian turns out well when we're done with it. It's 120 by 80 cubes for anyone new to watching these building streams. At least the back area is 120 by 80. I personally took a night and did the basement all by myself off stream, and it was 12,768 cubes, I believe, of obsidian to put the entire basement in by myself. It took me like 3 hours. This is a very massive multiplayer hotel. That's the entryway tower over there, which is a lot smaller. I believe it's only 16 by 24, but that's all it's meant to be, is an entryway building. So I really hope I have enough obsidian to do the entire 3 floors, because if RPGs doesn't get in here to help with the floor right now, then I might just go ahead and put the 3 floors in, and possibly the roof if I can. Because I don't know what else to do, because I can't put the Druid cubes in for the floor. She has to do that. And she also has to buy them too, because I can't even buy them without the Druid DLC. But maybe she still needs a break. It is a total for all 3 floors, I think it's 28,000 Druid cubes almost. That is what it is. Well, almost done with the back wall. This is a hell of a lot of work. In the end, it's supposed to be a hotel, so the basement's going to be for storage and making stuff, like a giant kind of workshop deal, but over the top, kind of. The first floor is going to be a big gathering area, and probably have the shops in it that I need here. And the second and third floor of the big part of the hotel is going to be either 16 or 20 rooms for friends to keep their stuff in when they play with me. If, you know, I get that many friends to actually have a room in the hotel. But it is what it is. Alright. Oh, that's too far away. Really? Just like 2 bricks too far? That's... really need to extend the brick that extra 2 spaces so you can go 15 bricks away from you and start building. Apologize again if my golden spore decides to come back around and blind anybody. I'm used to it, but it is very bright when it cuts in front of the character's face. By the way, 1 floor of walls that I'm doing right now is, I believe the math for it is 398 times 5. So, roughly 2,000 obsidian cubes per wall, per floor. I think the grand total for the entire hotel between obsidian and druid cubes, even just the exterior walls and floors and stuff, is somewhere around 100,000 cubes. At least 80,000, I know that much. It might be closer to 100k though. I know for the basement to be cleared out, our first building stream was a demolished stream, and we drilled out 96,000 bricks of dirt and put in a floor of dirt underneath the obsidian that I put in. So that was a 5.5 hour project in itself. And my archer also went through $15,000 worth of bombs at Shelton, and then some that I had in extra storage. I still ended up drilling out over half of the basement with RPGs. I don't think I grabbed enough bricks. Well, that'll suck. I'm gonna have to start putting obsidian cubes in the corner so I can get back up. I hope everybody enjoys the building stream though. It's a little bit slow, but I did have a big turnout to watch us drill dirt for 5.5 hours the first stream, so I personally don't get it, but I appreciate the views for people wanting to see us drill a bunch of dirt. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I really had to talk about this time was the temporary schedule that I talked about a little while ago when people started showing up. I don't really know what people want to see if they come to my streams or follow, because they're usually not here long enough for me to ask. But if there's games people want to see me play, then I will gladly play them. The only game that I probably will refuse to play on stream that I do own is The Witcher 3 because I just feel that's inappropriate to put on stream. Which is probably weird to hear an adult male say that The Witcher 3 seems inappropriate to him to show off to people, but not your typical person. And that game has a lot of adult things in it that would not be appropriate to put on Twitch. I don't mind swearing in my games and stuff, but that's because I swear myself. But I would probably never play that one specific game on stream, or games that have as much adult content as that one does. I think that's the only one I have that is like that, though. So, I'm sure there's, you know, crap tons of other games like that. I don't own all the 300 or 400 PS4 games there are in the world, so I don't know for sure. I would still love to play PS3 or Switch games for stream too, but I need to get a computer first, and my situation does not allow for that at the moment. So, I'm stuck with PS4 and just chatting with you guys. I hope my mic fix that I did is better for people, and that people actually enjoy hearing me talk rather than just having me say hi in the chat when you show up. Because I'm liking having the mic on, finally. At least more than I thought I would. But streams are either super lively since I've done it, or they are kind of dead. But as long as people like listening to me ramble on about things, then I'll ramble on about things. Well, I guess either RPGs is busy, or she's not joining us for stream today, because I thought she would be here already. Because I sent her an invite, and I sent her a party invite before I even started streaming, so that way she'd know that we were doing this. But, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, hopefully she shows up, otherwise this building is going to come to a complete halt here, because she's the only one that can put the floor in at the moment that I play with, so a lot of the credit for the hotel goes to her, because she's spending a lot of gold in the game to buy the floor, and she's spending a lot of time putting it in with me. We didn't even get to finish the big floor for the first floor last stream because it's 9,600 cubes, and honestly placing them by yourself gets a little tiring, and I can understand that. Can I go all the way back against this? Cool. Alright. But yeah, like I said, if people want to suggest things for me to try and play on stream, and I have them, I have no problem doing so. All people gotta do is say so, and I will give it a shot, even if I'm not the biggest fan of the game myself. If I have it, and someone asks me to play it, I will give it a shot. As far as this week goes, though, at the moment, this week is only looking like it's going to be Portal Knights, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Portal Knights, Kingdom Hearts 3, and World of Final Fantasy. haven't had anyone say anything about what they want to see, and you know, I don't necessarily know myself what to stream without knowing what other people want to see. I say a lot and just don't know what to talk about, but I am trying to take streams seriously by asking people what they want to see. It's just hard if no one actually answers. Hopefully that's enough cubes. I think I grabbed more than I grabbed the first time around, so. Yeah, I'm just gonna do the third floor, and then honestly, if I have enough obsidian, I'm just gonna finish off the roof. But hopefully RPGs gets in here so we can at least finish this floor. If not, start the second one. Oh, she missed a cube. That's weird. That is weird. Sorry, I'm not so talkative this stream. I'm kind of out of things to talk about. If more people start to show up, I can always bring up the stream schedule again so people know. Even though it is, you know, temporary and not set in stone really. But I'm almost always live at the same time every day. At least the same time frame. Which is, in case anyone watching is interested in coming back, it's between 11:30 a.m. EST and 2 p.m. EST. It's usually earlier in that time frame. If I don't get to start stream until around 2-ish, it's purely because of something in the real world, like having to get groceries today or something of the sorts. So, I just end up starting a bit later. But I will always stream for at least 4 hours, as long as I can fill the time up. As people saw, I did stream World of Final Fantasy for almost 8.5 hours yesterday. And I would love to do bigger streams, honestly, because I don't know what to do with my time half the time, but it would just come down to having more people actually show up and tell me a game that they want to see me play. Because I may not be a big streamer, and it is a big streamer thing, but I feel that I could pull off a somewhere between 12 and 24-hour stream if people actually wanted to come see it and hang out and do a bigger stream like that. But it's more of a definite thing when I get a lot more followers or viewers on a constant. I would love to, you know, kill brain cells by spending that much time playing a game for my small audience, but at the same time, I don't think they would be there for most of the stream. But like I said, if we can build up followers and viewers, I've got absolutely no problem doing games people want me to. I've got no problem doing longer streams, like 12, 16, you know, 24 hours even. 24 hours comes down to me having the caffeine for it, but I would definitely do it if I had everything I needed. And, you know, like I said, more of a following that would be there to hang out at periodic times. Probably wouldn't play like one game for the 24 hours. I would have to switch it up a little bit sometimes, but maybe that's just something I can do a bit easier once I can get OBS and stuff. I mean, there are games that I've sat and played for 26 hours at a time before. A specific game for the Wii comes to mind. I don't own that game or that system anymore, but I did play the game Overlord for 26 and a half hours when I got it. Straight. You know, it was nothing breaking it up other than some minor breaks for food and stuff. But I did play the game for 26 and a half hours straight, which was kind of funny. There's a lot of other games I've done it with too. Mostly handhelds and things. I know I can beat games fast, so if I do a stream for 24 hours, more than likely if I play only one game, and it's not something like Bethesda, like Fallout or Skyrim, more than likely we will beat the game in that 24 hours, because even brand new games usually don't take me more than 24 hours to beat the entire storyline of the game. So far, the only one that's still over that time limit for me at the moment is God of War and Final Fantasy 15. I did beat Final Fantasy 15 twice in a matter of 5 days, though. The entire story from beginning to end. I did not go into it and try and beat it a third time, but the only 2 times I've actually played that game for more than 2 hours and beaten it, I beat it twice in 5 days. And as far as God of War, I mentioned it in another stream, but my record for platinuming it is 2 days and 3 hours or something, or 2 days and 4 hours. Which my old record for it was like 3 days and 4 hours for platinum. But I think I played on a little bit easier of a difficulty the second time around, and that's the only reason it went smoother. Because the first time around I spent about 12 to 16 hours trying to beat the final Valkyrie in the game and memorize all her attack patterns so I could do so. So either I'm just better at the game than I remember being, or I played on a lower difficulty and didn't know it the second time around. Either one is completely plausible. Alright, well that messed up, so... Can I actually manage to squeeze this in there? There we go. I have no idea how I just managed that, but I'll take it. I thought I was gonna fall. I have to climb all the way back up this thing. That would have really sucked. Alright, well, 3 more walls to go, I guess, and then I can try putting in the 9,600 brick ceiling, and then some, but I don't think I have enough obsidian to fill in the entire roof, because of the glitch that happened when RPGs dropped up obsidian for me, and we lost out on a lot of it. We weren't able to get the full amount back the night that the glitch happened, so I don't know if she has any more obsidian to give me after the couple days that we've had away from the building, but yeah, I really hope that glitch doesn't happen again, because we lost out on 17 or 18 stacks of regular obsidian, 2.5 stacks of polished obsidian, and 6.5-ish stacks of coal. Or no, not 6.5. I think it was 3.5 stacks of coal. Because we put it in a chest and left the game too fast, so the game glitched out and emptied the entire chest like it never happened. And the resources are nowhere to be found. So you're doing it again, Golden Score. Stop trying to blind people. I don't like it, and I'm sure people watching don't like you trying to blind them. As much as that is your favorite activity, being the pet that you own. I don't know why I kept the doors in my inventory. I don't really need them in my inventory at the moment. Wow, this is really gonna end up being a very short stream if RPGs doesn't get here. Because I've only been live for like a little over a half hour, and I'm almost done building the walls. Well, I can say that if I do end stream early, I'll try and come back with World of Final Fantasy or something, I guess. I would love to do the build stream for you guys, but I can't do the floors. That is purely RPGs that needs to help me with those. Well, for multiple reasons, but I cannot buy them, and I cannot place that cube. Which is really annoying to me, because half of the Druid DLC I can do and access and buy, and half of it I can't buy or use or do anything with. So they really need to make up their mind on either making it all or none of it accessible, because the fact that I can buy doors and place them, the fact that I can run the defense with somebody, you know, the fact that I can use all the trap scrolls and learn the traps for the defenses. But if I get any other recipe or anything, I can't do it. If I try and buy anything other than a door, I have to buy the DLC. That just seems a bit dumb to me, honestly. I mean, I don't mind the logic behind my friend having DLC so I can play the DLC aspect with her, like the defense, but you know, that's always made sense in games. But their choices about what you can and cannot use, whether you have a friend with you or not, is a little dumb. Hi again. I really want to say your name, but I don't know how to say it. Yeah, I really don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. I just don't feel like butchering your name. Especially since I've never seen you in the stream before. Hi, and thanks for watching. As I place, you know, like 6,000 obsidian cubes. Okay, so Ubin VA. I'm assuming the VA is something like standing for Virginia or something? More or less? At least I think that's the initials for Virginia. For living in the US and being an American, I certainly need to brush up on anything social studies related. kind of all went out the window after I graduated, so. Yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out and watching me place a crap ton of obsidian bricks everywhere. I really wish we could get more of the hotel done today, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Whoa. Okay, apparently this brick is too high. Did I already start going a 6th brick? Apparently I did. Well, it's fine. I'm trying to create roof access for this building as well, so the 6th brick doesn't really matter. I just wasn't really working on it yet. So the fact that I put it in on accident is a little weird for, you know, a third of the back wall, but it is what it is. I was trying to do like a little lip on the edge of the roof once I start putting the floor in, but I haven't even started putting the floor in yet, so I think I just got distracted while I was talking. But yeah, as far as anything I've said, you know, I got my mini schedule that I created that's temporary, and if you want to stick around, thanks for the follow. If you want to end up sticking around or anything, and you got a game you want to specifically see me play that is PS4, and, you know, I can gladly try it out and put it on stream or whatever. Some games I have a lot more to say than others, but hopefully if I stream Kingdom Hearts 3 again, one, more people show up during the stream than, you know, after the stream this time. And two, hopefully I don't just say 4 sentences the whole 2.5 hour stream this time, because the first stream was my first stream with Mike on for stream for Kingdom Hearts 3, the first video. And between all the cutscenes and everything, and me being quiet for them, I just didn't end up talking much, even when it came down to sitting there doing fights over and over again. I didn't really have a lot to say. I have a lot to say during Final Fantasy games, though, like World of Final Fantasy. I think yesterday I ended up recognizing Cloud jumping into the scene just by seeing his foot hit somebody in the head. And I don't remember a lot of that game. I remember stuff when I see it, but even my practice profile that I have playing the game off stream, I'm trying to make it so I don't ruin the experience for myself when I do stream the game, since I actually don't remember a game fully for once, and only catch up to the point where we make it during stream and not go any further. It won't be that way with a lot of games, because me forgetting a game and a lot of aspects about it rarely happens, but as far as World of Final Fantasy went, I think I platinumed it maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago, so most of my knowledge about the game kind of went out the window. But I mean, it is what it is. I'm not concerned about forgetting a game. I forget controls every time I switch games. I think I actually had to stop playing zombies in Call of Duty because I kept throwing grenades at my feet and blowing myself up. And me and my friend, I did something when I forgot and tried to blow him up too. And because I just had enough of blowing myself up with grenades and forgetting the controls. And it made us both laugh so hard when I blew myself up that we both died, and then we fell out of our chairs laughing, because it was just dumb what I tried to do. But you know, I had been playing a little bit too much Destiny at the time, so I mixed up my fire and my grenade button and ended up blowing myself up a lot. Happily, I ended up adjusting fairly fast when it came to Kingdom Hearts, because it's also been, you know, I haven't played that game since like 3 weeks after it was released, because I beat it and almost got the platinum on it. So, you know, that was last year, middle of last year, and I forgot the controls for the game. But I picked them up like they were nothing again, and I think I more or less have most aspects of the game back in my brain again. But we'll have to find out when I stream it again, because at the moment I only went to the end of Olympus for the first stream. The Titan fight was actually a lot easier than I remember, so that might have been nerfed while I was away, because I remember the tornado being a lot more of a big pain the first time around when I did it. The ice dude and the lava dude too. I annihilated the ice dude at the beginning of the fight, but the lava guy, he just was a jiggly blob and moved too much. That's the only reason it took a while to kill him. But yeah, if I notice anything in my off-stream plays of games while I'm trying to either practice or just play the game for fun on the side, if I notice anything different that I've done in my off-stream one or anything, I try to mention it, because especially World of Final Fantasy, I chose to kill Ramu off stream, and for stream I ended up fighting Shiva at the beginning of the game. And there's a big difference between having thunder and not having thunder in the game, because in my off-stream save, Zap has not left Rain's head since I got him, and Babliz I've barely used. There's a lot of things in the game that are weak to thunder that shouldn't be, just saying, but there's a really big difference with having it instead of not having it. My off-stream save file, Rain is living through boss fights that she died through on stream, because either she has the thunder attack, or because I leveled one more time in my off-stream save instead of the one that I did for stream. Honestly, at the rate things are going with that game and how much I'm enjoying it, I might do a second playthrough of the game. It won't be like right after I finish the initial playthrough that I'm doing, because I feel people would get bored of that real fast. Unlike Portal Knights, which people seem to love over and over again, as different classes. But I will probably play another playthrough of World of Final Fantasy and make different choices where I can. I will probably do Outer Worlds again sometime soon too, because the last time I streamed that, I think was about 2 months ago, maybe a month ago at this point. It's up on YouTube, but you know, I did play that game to death when I did play it, because I streamed it four different times. And that was mainly to get all the variations of playthroughs out of the way for the game. But I did a bad ending playthrough, a full good ending playthrough. Oh yeah, that's what I did. Okay, I did a Peacemaker playthrough of the Outer Worlds, which is, you know, everything works out, happy ending for all. I did a good ending playthrough where you side with the people and not the corporations, and I did a bad ending playthrough where you side fully with the corporations and become a homicidal dictator maniac kind of person. Or at least that's my opinion on that outlook of the game's ending. They're all still pretty good playthroughs. I would love to do one with voice on. That game does have a lot of swear words though. So thank you, Obsidian, for making life harder by putting, you know, crap tons of swear words in the game. Still a great game, but since Obsidian made it, they continued with the trend of Fallout games and made it have lots and lots of swear words. In case anyone's wondering, I did skip most dialogue for my first 3 initial playthroughs as much as I could, so that way I could make it as PG as I possibly could. My hard difficulty playthrough though, I left all dialogue in. I think I might have skipped dialogue maybe once or twice on accident because of twitchy finger. But I did leave all the dialogue in for my hard difficulty playthrough of the game that I 100%ed and did a Peacemaker ending for. It is 100%. Well, at least my version of 100%. The only thing I skipped was one quest, and that's because it would have been part of the bad ending of the game, and I'm not entirely sure if it would have interfered with me doing a companion quest that I still hadn't done. So, in order to get the full good ending for the 100% playthrough, I had to skip murdering an entire town, which I'm absolutely fine with, honestly. Murdering the entire town doesn't make sense in the end anyway. But if you do end up murdering that town, you get a trophy called Ludwig Was Right. Because, he's a crazy guy that believes in robots killing the town. Or that they're going to mount a mountain army and go kill the town. And when you actually wipe out that town, you don't wipe out the town. You trigger robots that are malfunctioning to go wipe out the town, and then you go clean up the robots that made the mess. So that way they can keep things looking like an accident like the big corporations want. Which is, you know, like I said, the homicidal ruler of the world, not very good ending of the game. Which I prefer not to get. I still would like to understand Obsidian's choices in that game though, because there is no New Game Plus and there is no post-game. There's literally a thing that stops you and says, do you want to save before you go do the final thing in this game? But at the same time, the last area of the game, I'm not going to give spoilers or anything for it, but the last area of the Outer Worlds has a crap ton of loot. A crap ton of the loot and chests and stuff are off out of your way. You have to go out of your way to get them and find them. And they also provide a break room in that area with 6 or 8 vending machines to sell all of the loot that you have and build up your money supply and buy any supplies you may need. Which I get, you know, if you're playing on the hardest difficulty, which is basically survival from Fallout New Vegas, you're gonna need supplies, you know, in the middle of your run through the last area, because you're gonna be getting your butt handed to you the entire time. But at the same time, all the out-of-the-way loot, and the fact that you can literally just sit there and go make sure you kill every last enemy, you get all their loot and stuff, you collect a giant pile of loot that you could possibly want to hold on to, and there's no New Game Plus, and there's no like post-game save to make it so you can come back and do stuff afterwards, is a little bit annoying to me, especially for a game that plans on adding DLC in the future, because having a save before the final fight and all that loot is honestly, in my opinion, just dumb. Why not put the automatic save after you beat the game? So that way you could have more opportunities for people to keep playing your game through a New Game Plus, and you could let them roam around in post-game for the hell of it until you put the DLC out. In my opinion, that makes more sense. Especially in a game that's supposed to be basically Fallout in space, more or less. But, I don't know. I don't know. It's a really good game though. I will give it that. Obsidian did a really, really good job with that game. I thoroughly enjoy it, enough to beat it 7 different times in the first 2 weeks of owning the game, so it's definitely a good game, and I recommend it to anyone who hasn't played it, because if you don't mind a lot of swear words, and you like shooter looter adventure games, also, you know, post-apocalyptic kind of universes, it's not a bad game, you know? It's got its flaws here and there, but what games don't, you know? At least Obsidian came out with a, you know, I want to say 99% complete game when they released the game. And any minor bugs or anything, they seem to be very on top of fixing them. So, I'm looking forward to whenever they release DLC for that game, because I feel like it's going to be a blast. It really will be. I'm a little disappointed that they didn't open up a couple more of the planets, since there's only 5 planets in the game. But it's understandable with a couple planets in the game. They are meant to be giant, well, they're meant to be giant gas giants, like, you know, Jupiter and stuff. But some of the planets that, you know, have lore and stuff, you know, there's people even in the game that talk about being on the planet that is the closest to the sun in that solar system, but you can never go visit Hephaestus. There's armor made by people that live on Hephaestus. And if they release a DLC for it, I'm hoping that they make the Hephaestus planet into like a big bandit kind of DLC, or Marauder DLC as they call them in the game, because a lot of the Marauder armor is made by Hephaestus as a company. So it would be nice to see that be put in as a DLC thing for them. It would make a lot of lore sense as well, considering all the armor and everything. But the one dude I remember specifically, he said he's been on the hottest side of Hephaestus with the sun and everything, where he could barely breathe. And he also mentioned some like big bird that he might have heard underneath the surface of the planet. Which, honestly, if you follow that guy's lore that he talks about and think of it as more than a story, they have a lot right there in just what that one dude says to put in for quest and lore based stuff in the game for DLC on that one planet alone. And I really hope they do it, because taking advantage of something like that they set up intentionally or not would be pretty amazing if they can pull it off. Yeah, I mean, enough about Outer Worlds. We're still sitting here playing Portal Knights, but yeah, as long as I own a game, I got no problem playing it, no problem giving my opinion about games, and if I know something and people have a question, I got no problem trying to answer it for them, if I actually have information about it. You know? It is what it is. Like I said, schedules for my channel. Until there's more people here, I can't really get a demographic or a question out there to enough people to just see what people want to see. But going off of how many views videos get post-stream and during streams, people seem to like Portal Knights a lot, even though I'm running out of stuff to do. And people seem to like Kingdom Hearts, even though they weren't there for the initial stream. As far as World of Final Fantasy, I'm finding out that that's an iffy kind of game for people right now, because I've had 2 streams where I had quite the amount of people follow, or not follow, but come and view it. But then yesterday's stream only had 2 people show up to it, so, you know, it's an iffy game, I guess. I will give them one thing though, yesterday's stream was a little bit boring because of the big bridge that I had to get over. I don't know what people prefer to call that thing, because technically the bridge does have a name. It's called Alexander. It's a summon that's only in 2 games in all of the Final Fantasy series. It's in Final Fantasy 13, I'm pretty sure, as Hope's Fortress summon, and a really big pain of a fight, just like all the summons in that game. And he's the bridge in World of Final Fantasy. I don't think he's in any other game that I know of, at least. For all I know, he could have been in 4, 5, well, not 4. He could have been in 5, 6, 7, or 9, because I have not played those Final Fantasy games. I did play 6 a little bit, because I remember Terra from that game. But, I've never beaten Final Fantasy 6. I've come close to beating Final Fantasy 3. I've come close to beating Final Fantasy 1. I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 2 on the PSP when I had a PSP that worked. That's the only reason I remember Ferris and her purple hair. At least I think she's from Final Fantasy 2. Hell, I haven't played Final Fantasy 3 in forever, and I still remember all 4 main characters' names. Because Final Fantasy 3, your team is made up of Lunith, Ark, Refia, and Ignis. That much I know for sure. It took me forever to remember Ark's name, but that's mainly because I didn't think his name was as simple as being Ark. You know, with people having names like Refia and Lunith. It's hard to believe that they made a name as simple as that. But I did mix up my initial reaction for Warrior of Light with thinking they put Cecil in World of Final Fantasy from Fantasy 4. Technically, the way they designed the Warrior of Light in World of Final Fantasy, it does look a lot like Cecil. To me, at least. And that's, you know, looking at, you know, a 3D model in World of Final Fantasy compared to basically a sprite in Final Fantasy 4 on the Game Boy Advance. But even the PSP version of Final Fantasy 4, which is a lot more fun, they didn't go as far as like full-blown 3D models for the game, but it was a nice remake to the game, and they did a good job on it. So keep up the good work with your games, Square Enix, because you definitely got a fan here. Even for the games that half your fan base doesn't like, because there is almost no one in the fan base that likes Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. That's why the game went down to $5 at most stores. But I like it. I'm thinking about putting a stream once I run out of another game that's in the cycle. What's sad is I think I can follow that game's story better than World of Final Fantasy, and that's saying something since Type 0 doesn't really have a story to it. And I think that might be what bothers a lot of people, is just not being able to grasp the aspect of what Square Enix was trying to do. But we'll test it out for stream at some point and see how it goes. Honestly, I think the only other like big adventure game that I might do for stream, it's a big might, is I might play through Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, for the what was it? Be like my 4th or 5th time playing through the game. But I enjoy that specific Assassin's Creed a lot more than any of the others. The only other one that I like more, that I have played, than Assassin's Creed Syndicate is, I thoroughly enjoy playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That game is massive. I still have never platinumed the thing on either account that has played the game for PSN. And honestly, where most games make travel by boat hellish and make people not want to play the game because of how much traveling they have to do by boat, I actually like getting into fights and sailing across the giant Greek Ocean in a tricked out boat that you can level up. It's a lot of fun. I'm actually really happy too that the second time I played the game, I got the good ending for Odyssey. where you can actually have your family members live through the entire game, your father, your mother, and Deimos, and have them join you on the boat as crew members, and they have funny dialogue with each other. It's a lot of fun. I think you can even have your brother that's supposed to be like your adopted stepbrother kind of thing join you, because you don't have to kill him either. The first time I played that game, I might have been rushing things, or I might have just been being an evil prick through the game, but I don't know. I didn't even know the happy ending that I got the second time around was a thing that was actually possible to do. But I'm happy I figured it out, because it was a lot more things for me to see in the game. I also like that that game went as far as to make sure big boss fights and stuff, like the Cyclops, you cannot cheese them. You can't. You have to have the skill to put up with the big boss fights if you're going to go out of your way to do them. Especially the big Thunder Cyclops guy. Because he will just, if you go too far away or try and trick him and try and be out of his range, he'll just go hide in his cave and you won't be able to hit him until you come back down. And he'll do that every single time you try and cheese the fight. So there is no way to do it. Obviously, it's always fun to find a way to cheese a fight in a game. I'm not saying it's not. I do it for Portal Knights all the time, and I do it for a lot of other fights all the time in other games. But the fact that Assassin's Creed Odyssey went out of their way to make sure you can't cheese any big fights and win them easily, I appreciate them doing that, because it makes the game that much better. And actually makes you feel like you earned your victory, because you have to purely do skill-based things to win a lot of fights in the game. And yeah, it's a lot of fun now. May not be for some people, but I enjoy the challenge as someone who memorizes most of the games he plays. I enjoy the challenge of not being able to cheese something and just win, because I can. I've had a lot of close calls in that game specifically too, with the bigger battles or whatever. You don't always get the victory you're expecting sometimes, but it's a hell of a lot of fun and a big adrenaline rush when you're about to get your butt kicked and you end up winning the fight with even unknown circumstances thrown in your face. And honestly, what else do we play games for other than to do things we normally couldn't do in real life and get an adrenaline rush as a nerd? Makes a lot of sense and stuff. You don't necessarily need, thanks for the follow, Madman, but you don't necessarily need better warrior gear from DLC. This set is the set that I used for my Rune Knight build to make a joke out of the Ice Dragon. And the only thing in here that's even remotely high leveled for his set is the Helm of the Crystal Storm, which isn't DLC. The Helm of the Crystal Storm, you get the recipe for it from doing Cithras, or Cithirus, however you want to pronounce it. You do a Cithirus cube and build the Helm of the Crystal Storm. The Crusader gear is the Gold Knight gear, upgraded with an Astral Heart. I use the Ring of Binding for some leech, but when I fight the hard mode bosses, instead of defense, I wear the elemental rings that you get from the boss fights, and the Cube of Cithras. And the cape that I wear for this character to sustain mana is the level 29 Mage Cape from fighting Hollow King. And the weapons that I use for this character build are purely just the swords from the hard mode bosses, and the Crystal Executioner, which is a recipe from Cithirus again. Greater Poison Rain, you get the recipe. Sorry, excuse me. You get the recipe for Greater Poison Rain from beating the electric worm. He is very stingy about dropping it, but that is how you get this recipe for this spell in the game. It's very good, mainly for him. I run a Masterwork Lightning with this build specifically for the Ice Dragon, because it was doing a double hit on her, and both hits were doing just about 2,000 damage. I run Planetary Strike level 2, which you get the recipe for that from the Hollow King. I run that for defense sometimes. I run it for the Light King. I run Deafening Roar for the Dragon. I run Warcry for every other situation other than the Dragon, the Ice Dragon. I run Archmage Heal for the Light King, since it is a slow-paced fight, and you actually save yourself on potions if you choose to use heal instead. And this build is also using the Meteor spell for defense only, because watching 20 meteors rain down is fun and also very effective. And Light Bomb. This character always has Light Bomb level 2 equipped with whatever other spell they're using, because it causes knockback, like the sword, so you're constantly keeping things off of you and making things more survivable. And every time you cast it, even if you don't hit anything, you heal yourself. If you end up hitting like a mob of 7 enemies with the Light Bomb level 2 though, you will heal yourself for probably over 1,000 of HP, if not more. In this class setup, with the sword also, by the way, because the sword gives health and mana regeneration and absorber, I only have 1,906 HP, and my stats are all over the place, as you can see. Those are base stats, by the way, because I have the Ring of Binding equipped. I have 85 Constitution, which, you know, with the sword, like I said, it goes up to 1906 HP. My strength is a base 68 that the warrior gets. That's it. I didn't put a single point into it, because this class is also meant to have magic and be a little bit more magic DPS based. So I have 42 intelligence, which gives me exactly 100 base magical attack damage, unless I have one of the elemental boss rings equipped to boost my intelligence. And I have 48 wisdom, which gives me 1,060 mana pool, and if I have the cape on that I'm supposed to have on for fights, that gets boosted to 1180. But it is a very effective build, and if you end up going to watch my older stream that has the Frost Dragon as the actual thumbnail, I start that stream out by fighting her four times, and I think 3 out of 4 times I beat her in 1 out of 2 tries, and one of the times that I fight her, I beat her the very first try that I go into the fight, solo. The only problem that I have with that situation is, even with 1906 HP, and all of my armor, and the correct ring giving me 30% resistance against her Frost Breath magic attack, if I do not use the defense spell, I will still die. You have to use Deafening Roar, even with this build, or you will die against the Frost Dragon. And it is very sad that she does that much damage, but it is what it is, you know? She's the hardest boss in the game. She's not meant to be the hardest boss in the game, but she is. And I don't talk in that stream, because that was the last stream before I actually started using my mic, but I do show off the entire class build there as well. You can call it Rune Knight, you can call it Paladin. Either way, it's a magical warrior build that can make the Arctic Countess Dragon into a joke. And I'm very proud of this class, because I didn't think it would actually turn her into that much of a joke of a fight, and he did, which is probably the greatest achievement I could come across in Portal Knights. My mage tank though, by the way, physical damage mage tank, is also pretty funny. I do have to remember how to use her though, because I don't use her a lot since I created her for stream. But beating up hard mode bosses with a physical mage that can take a hit and leech for almost twice as much HP as she has total is kind of hilarious. The class build for the magical, the mage tank, uses scythes, and its leech percentage is 70%. Its leech chance is 46%. So, with a multi-strike hit and leeching being about 50-50 once the random number generator kicks in, almost every hit or every other hit, you're healing yourself with that class, and the DPS output and crit output put warriors to shame, and so does the survivability of the class if you use it correctly. It can put warriors to shame, which is really sad. And I don't know how I broke the game that much with it, but it was a lot of fun, and probably the funniest build that anyone has ever made because of just how much it broke the game. But yeah, definitely check those out if you are a fan of Portal Knights and trying to break the game for yourself. My other two class builds, sadly, aren't as good as these two, the Rune Knight and the Mage Tank. But they do what I designed them for very well, which was just basically to have a different aspect on how to play the game as a rogue or a ranger, and mainly be a support unit and have a friend to play with. My Bard class is a ranger that is both physical DPS with his bow and a lot of magical DPS as well. He has a very small mana pool though. He only has 1,000 mana pool. But I run a helmet that I'm not even sure is in the game anymore on him, but you can always substitute it with the high level Reaper hood or something from the mage armor that you can make. I run Spell Rush on him. So when I fight things, even with my low mana pool, I can get off 4 Poison Rains in a row in a matter of seconds against the Electric Worm to up my DPS output. And it is very effective. Like, very, very effective. It is just a class that is meant for support and DPS, but it burns through mana like you're a mage almost. Not to mention, with all the multi-strikes from your bow and your multi-strikes from the spells, you're definitely going to get crits without even having a really high crit chance from anything other than your bow helping you. Honestly, that class pairs best with a warrior and does its best in the druid defense, because since I ran Light Bomb level 2 on that class as well, if the warrior ends up dying, you can actually manage to hold down the fort until they get back into position for you. You're not meant to, but if you have to for a second, you can do it. So he played the support role exponentially well for what I built that class build for. As for the supporting shadow build that I did for the rogue, again, not as funny or exponentially well built as the Rune Knight or the Tank Mage, in my own opinion, anyway. But for being a support character, and being designed specifically to be a support character based around the Druid Defense DLC, she does what she does exponentially well. She's not meant for hard mode, because her main weapon is the Shadow Scythe, which is the subclass weapon of the rogue in the game. You get shadow weapons, and I used specifically the level 29 scythe that you get from the Hollow King. It causes knockback, and the rogue is mainly turned into a low survivability rating upgrade with some magic and knockback to make being a support role easier, and also it gives a change up on how people look at a class in kind of try and play it in the game. Like I said, worked very well, but you have to train yourself to be able to use it. I wish I had more training with the classes that I made for more than a day or a few hours before I actually showed them off the stream. But, you know, it is what it is. RPGs showed off very well what happens if you don't have enough practice with a brand new build in the game, like Portal Knights. Because she ran the tank mage with me and wasn't used to it. We both had the same amount of time of practice, really, but she ran it with me, and if you watch that stream, the Arctic Dragon for us and for stream kind of became a game of how long is the mage with the halo gonna live? Because she kept dropping into the fight and dying. I think she lost a total of $10,000 during the fight when I actually managed to kill her that time, the dragon, which I feel sad about because a lot of her deaths were caused by me trying to handle ads. They really need to take the really need to take the friendly fire aspect out of the ice dragon. I feel like if they did that, you would no longer be able to clear ads efficiently because they'd have to take that away if they were going to take the other aspect away. But if anyone ever tries to fight the ice dragon with a friend, just make sure to give them a warning that if they died and are dropping down, not to stand near the ads if you're trying to do what I do, because they will die, and it will be your fault. I tried to give RPGs a warning after the first couple times, but there's not a lot of room on that platform to stay away from me and the ads and the exploding eggs all at the same time. So this specific build that I'm using right now to build this building is actually able to solo the ice dragon fairly efficiently. The only problem I have at the moment is I have no gems for relics, and the only relics I have with me are I have Pithris cubes, and I have I think 8 light relics that RPGs gave me last time I played hard mode. But honestly, I'm not too concerned. Sea sapphires are the easier one of the 2 harder gems to get for the relics. If I actually needed to get sun diamonds, then I'd be a little bit more annoyed because there's only like 2 or 3 planets that have sun diamonds, and you have to go really out of your way to get them. That is part of why I'm going to have an obsidian garden on this planet made of those obsidian, I want to say they're like octagons or hexagon plants. Honestly, they might just be a 20-sided die basically from D&D. I don't really know. But either way, I'm going to have a couple gardens for harvest of those plants on this planet with the hotel because they have a chance to drop sea sapphires and sun diamonds for you when you harvest them. So it's a steady supply of 2 of the harder gems in the game to get. And it's actually really good if you can actually get a supply like that because sun diamonds are used in a lot of stuff, and sea sapphires, they're one of those gems that when you need them, you don't have them, so having a place to always know where some could be for you to go get is always a good thing. They really aren't used in nearly as much as the sun diamond though. Like even the original planetary strike spell uses sun diamond dust, which is really annoying. I am happy that Portal Knights made it easier to deal with getting sun diamond dust if they didn't necessarily make it easier to get sun diamonds, because since they added that Glimmerglen quest chain and the castle with the update, which apparently happened last August, every single time you go back to the planet, the dusts that are laying around the planet respawn. So you can get a bunch of ruby dust, you can get a bunch of verdant emerald, electro quartz. I think there's a little bit of every single dust except for moon opal in Glimmerglen. And being able to farm dust like that if you need it, instead of having to go out of your way to regen worlds to get sun diamonds instead, was a good move on Portal Knights' part, the developers, that is, because honestly, I hate having to go get sun diamonds every time I need them. I have to figure out which one of the 3 planets I didn't blow up the most. I have to hunt them down on the planet that I decide to go to. And I have to get lucky to find a big enough supply for what I need to get them for. And all 3 of those things rarely ever happen with one planet when it comes to that specific gem. Honestly, I feel like they should add sun diamonds to another one of the crystal planets instead of just Pillars of Perun. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel that way. Because, there's just not enough planets that have it. There just aren't. And honestly, their options for fixing it are either add another planet that has sun diamonds. Well, not planet, but world on the planet that has sun diamonds. Or they can make one of the worlds that already has sun diamonds be as frequently generous as the Star Spires is with moon opals. Because literally, I've gone to Star Spires, found a titanium chain of ore, which turned into moon opal, then turned into titanium, then more moon opal afterwards. And the chain went on for a very long time for me that time. I think I swapped back and forth between titanium and moon opal on the same chain of stuff maybe 6 or 7 times in a row. And ended up getting like 200 moon opals that visit to Star Spires. You know, but half the time when I find sun diamonds, there's only like 2 of them, or 3 of them. And you don't find them they're very few and far in between each other, so you never walk away with probably more than 20 or 30 from a planet, and that's if you hunt every single last one down. Also, a lot of them spawn on the bottom of a world, so unless you get lucky and your cubes bounce up above where you broke them at, your sun diamonds are going to fall off the world, and either you're going to fall in after them and get them, or you're going to fall in after them and not get them. Because that's always a debatable thing as well. Oh, that's not. Okay. I thought I missed a hole in the wall over there, but now that the sun's hitting it right, I can see that it's the cube that I put there on accident. So, I'll have to get that when I'm done. I don't think that's the only cube that I have to knock off the wall right now, but at the moment, it's the only one that I remember about. The good news is I got 2 full walls built in here today, for floor wise, and I'm probably going to be able to fill in, well, maybe a 1/5 of the ceiling. I hate to put a guesstimate like that out there, but the ceiling is 9,600 obsidian cubes, and I definitely did not have anywhere near that amount left over after I built the wall up, so it is what it is. Honestly, I'm not too concerned. I'm a little disappointed that RPGs hasn't been answering my messages about things for this, or that she didn't or wasn't able to come help me build today, because we really need to finish the floor, and like I said earlier multiple times, she's the only one that can put in the floor out of the 2 of us. I don't have the Druid DLC. I really want the Druid DLC, and I plan on getting it as soon as I can. But for building the Obsidian, I need her to put the floor in. And that's kind of just how it is. I just need help with it. Not to mention that it's just a big project and stuff, but I need specifically her help to finish building this, since she already started. For those wondering, I do give credit to people who help me with stuff, because all these videos go up on YouTube either the day of or the day after I stream them, and I made sure that the playlist with this building in it is crediting RPGs, since she's being a big help. And everything with the building, and she's in a lot of my other Portal Knights streams too, running hard mode and stuff, ever since I started streaming Portal Knights and whatnot. But yeah, I guess she must just not be free to play today or something. So I don't want this stream to be super short, but this one might be specifically, and if it is, I'll, you know, like I said, I'll come back and be streaming a different game for maybe a few hours to fill in the fact that this was so short. I don't really want to have to do more than one stream a day, but if I have to, it's not a big deal. Just hope that people come to watch it if I decide to fill in the rest of my day with another stream, because that would be great. Well, if I run out of cubes before this specific stream that we're in right now, with Portal Knights hits 2 hours, I would love to say I'd go fight the dragon, just to show off his class again, but that depends on if I can find the sea sapphires that I need. I might end the stream by fighting the dragon, if we can't continue to work on the building. Just so people can see that this class build is fairly efficient for soloing the dragon. And some people may say that it's a skill-based thing, even with the class. I would agree. I'm not one to give myself credit a lot of the time, but I guess some people, even with an idea, don't necessarily have the skill sometimes to pull off said ideas. And other people end up being able to pull it off just fine. I guess when it comes down to it, I am a bit skilled at games, and I just don't give myself credit for that. But I'm always surprised when I'm good at a game or anything, because, you know, I am. I'm just kind of a modest person that doesn't really feel like being that skilled person, or thinking that he is. But if I know something that can help people, or I can show off something that can help people, you know, why not do so? Some of my other games that I've played for stream, there's a lot of luck involved. To put things simply, I did stream Monster Hunter a while back, before I started uploading to YouTube too, and I was having some amazing fights during it that were completely and utterly luck-based, and I'm sad I didn't have a mic on, and I'm sad that they are no longer existing, because they were pretty spectacular fights. I wouldn't mind streaming Monster Hunter World again, either. I did beat the game like twice for stream, but all those videos no longer exist. So, if anyone wants to see me play Monster Hunter World and would come to watch it or whatever, I will do that game as well. It's kind of a longer game, but that's due to the exploring aspect of it. Since I have a lot of stuff memorized in it, though, it shouldn't be as long as a lot of people playing it from the beginning blind or anything. The only thing with that game is I usually play solo, so I don't do a lot of arena or event-based things in that game. Because arena is really hard by yourself. You can practice it all you like, but because you can't use your own gear in the arena in that game, and you have to use specific sets, it's really hard to do by yourself. At least in my opinion it is. And as far as events, they kind of mean for you to do that with people. That's how hard they make them when they actually do events. They mean for you to actually have a group of friends that you can do it with. And, yeah, well, how many people can say they have a solid group of friends for more than the time that they initially played the game? You know? I've had friends for Monster Hunter, I've had friends for Destiny, I've had friends for Borderlands, but at the same time, they're just people on my PSN friends list. You know, we all went our separate ways with other games, and you don't end up playing with people as much as you used to. Well, Destiny being its own special case, to the point where, what's the company that owns them? Bungie? To the point where Bungie was, literally putting out surveys to people about why they were leaving the game because they messed up so bad with their game. So, I'm happy I left before that happened. But, yeah. I have just enough. Alright, well. That is literally every single cube that I had of Obsidian, other than the one that I attached to a wall on accident, so... I'm gonna try and run around and see if I'd put anything else anywhere it wasn't supposed to go, but I think it's just that one cube. Oh, it actually didn't hit. I thought that was gonna hit. Try and get this cube down. Am I actually too far away from it? There we go. But yeah. I think that is probably the extent of the building for today because, like I said, I need RPGs for the rest of it. So we gotta go get more obsidian because I ran out of all obsidian except for one cube. So. I'm gonna put this furniture away that I don't need in my inventory at the moment. Well, we're only at an hour and 39 minutes, so I guess I can go get some sea sapphires and show off this class against the dragon real quick before I end the Portal Knights stream. It's going to be really short, so more than likely I will come back with another stream afterwards. That's purely for YouTube's sake and the fact that switching games I think is going to end the stream anyway. Due to not having OBS or anything. But, I don't know. I said yesterday that I might play World of Final Fantasy, so... this stream's ending up a lot shorter than I thought it would, so I might just go play World of Final Fantasy some more for stream. I gotta find something to fill my day, so... hopefully everyone comes back to watch it, though, if I do stream it. because I'd probably at least do whatever chapter I'm on, if not a little bit more. I'm pretty sure we left off at the water temple in Besaid, though. I wish I knew someone that could actually tell me who Shantoto was, because I don't know who Shantoto is actually in Final Fantasy. She just seems kind of crazy to me. And, you know, a witch, obviously. But she just seems kind of crazy. Do I not have my tools? Yeah, I don't. Well, I only need, I think, 12 more. I don't know how many I have, or else I'd actually know the exact amount to get. Seriously. Oh, you are getting away, aren't you? How did I actually hit you while staring at the ground? Go away. Oh, you dropped a Felix's power recipe. More than likely. Which I think only like 2 of my characters have that recipe, but it's essentially a football helmet. Should probably go get it. Yeah, Felix's power. It is a recipe for a football helmet for your character. And I think the only way to get it to drop is to kill the parrots in the Frost Worlds. Could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the only way to get it. Do I have 16? Nope. Okay, 2 more. 2 more sea sapphires. And, then I can stop beating up gems with a sword and go fight the dragon. Okay. So let's go get this relic made. And then I will be back after a few seconds to try and go kill the frost dragon. Honestly, the fight itself should take us to about 2 hours for the stream, but like I said, this character made it into a joke fighting her, and I'm so happy that I was able to, but at the same time, the fight is still mostly RNG based, which is irritating because the dragon is just that hard. But there, I have my whole set equipped the way it should now. The way it should be, I should say. Let's see here. Yeah, 1906 for HP. I think the day that I thought my HP was messed up, I think the Crystal Executioner gives... Yeah, that's why. It's because I had this equipped for the Light King, and it gives 3 less HP than the other 2 swords. And that's why I thought my HP was messed up. I think the only relic that right now is limited to 2 characters being able to make it for me is the Thunder Relic, and that's because the Worm's being really stingy at the beginning of the game with dropping that. I've only got the recipe twice. I've got extra Light and Frost Relics though. Alright, I gotta do something real quick, and I'll be back in like a minute or 2, and we'll go kill the dragon. So, look forward to that in a minute or 2, okay? Alright, so, let's go kill a Jay. Should point out that I like to say that this class build has a 99% immortality rating. Anyone who says that they've made something immortal in a game clearly hasn't played enough aspects of the game or played enough games to know that nothing's ever 100% immortal in a game unless it's a glitch, because RNG is still a thing. Also, being cocky is still a thing. I get cocky and try not to heal sometimes, and this class will die, or I get RNG'd into dying, because a lot of things are based off of RNG, no matter how good a build is. So, yeah, hopefully this goes well in one try, so I don't blow through potions. But, I hope everyone enjoys watching me make the dragon into a joke again, because I enjoy making her into a joke. After all the time she has killed me, it is a big, fun activity to do, to make this dragon into a joke, especially solo. Defense spell, and it cost me. Yeah, like I said, RNG. For some reason my spells seem nerfed. They're not coming back as fast. I'll chalk that up to the dev deciding to watch my stream and realizing how much I broke things. Because they've been making a lot of nerfs and buffs to things they should be in this game right now. That one came down to me not hitting her with the defense spell. so dumb with eggs on. The ad smack the egg instead of me, and then they kill me. Ad buddy. Whoa. Not allowed to lag in. Ever in the game as well. Thought I might have hit her with the light bomb egg. Get a good DPS round finally. Kill myself. I almost just actually kill myself. AoE damage from the eggs is hilarious. You kill the ads half the time for you. And the ads kill themselves half the time too. So really all you have to do is stay alive. Hit her with an egg every now and then. Oh, that almost hit her. That was not aimed at all. That was pure light bomb. Eggs were out. Not a hitter. No, I'm not ready for this. I have 3 abs, and I'm not ready for that crap. Alright, well, I lived. Still don't know, but I'm still living. 5 abs on me. Well, there's one. There's another. There's another ab. Down to 1 ab now. Grab it. Got the egg, and I just got 1 out on me now. Honestly, I could care less if you hit me half the time. I'm just gonna do that. Do that. Apparently he died from my lightning spell. So, there's that. Put up with 5 ads and a dragon. Just, I don't even like that I have to do it myself, but I can't. No human should have to put up with that in the world, and it's happening a lot lately. I still feel that I need to introduce a cap to how many ads which can spawn on the battlefield at once, because I got over 8 with RPG. and I was rolling around in circles with 8 ads on me. Insane. Oh, she's dead. But yeah, I just did most of that fight with multiple ads on me too, and soloed it. This class build is busted for the dragon, for pretty much anything you fight with it, but you hurt for DPS by making yourself, you know, like I said, 99% immortal, because RNG and being cocky will cost you. As you saw, I almost killed myself, but I lived with like a third of a heart. Somehow. But yeah, this build is definitely good at what it does, which is making the dragon boss into a joke. You do tear through potions, and during the light boss you tear through mana potions. But yeah, completely and utterly doable and a decent way to be able to farm solo against the hard mode Dragon Queen. I think that's the 5th or 6th time I've been in solo. And I was right, that took us just over 2 hours for the stream time, so I'm gonna put my crap away from that fight and sell the magic damage protection flasks. I would love to be able to talk right on a constant and not mess up my words, but English is hard, apparently. Even being the only language that I really know, English is hard. It just is. Oh, they upped the amount you get for the sword. It's not 600 anymore, it's 700. Cool. Wonder when they did that, because the last few days when I looked at selling things, it always said 600, just like the other weapons. That's weird. Maybe I had a glitch again. I don't know. By the way, there's really no point in the water sword, so have fun stockpiling them. You can use it in the defense if you really wanted to, for the first level of defense for the Druid DLC, but it's much better to use the light sword, which, as you can see, I have a stockpile as well of the light sword, let alone the water sword too. But the swords you need for this class are the electric, the light sword, and the crystal executioner. And for pretty much all purposes other than boss fights, specifically with the dragon or the Light King, you're going to be using the light sword that you get from the Light King, because it makes life a lot easier than every other thing in the game. So, crap. Who has? Oh, I know who has the worm trophy. So people can actually see what I was saying there for a second to myself. This is the bar that I built here. I was doing something with the hard mode boss trophies here, and I think my other fighter is where my worm trophy is, because me and RPGs, when we streamed the hard mode bosses last time, we did all 3 bosses in a row, and they all decided to drop their trophy. And we're not entirely sure why, but they just seemed to want to drop their trophy that day. The only one I wanted was the worm one, and I think it's still on my, my multi-strike fighter, who is still a lot of fun to play. She just has a harder time living than this one does. But yeah, I think that's it for Portal Knights today. I'm gonna have to see what's up with RPGs, so we can actually build for you guys next time I have a build stream instead of me just building some walls in. But real quick, for anyone who wants to try out the warrior build, I'll show it off again. I run the Helm of the Crystal Storm. The rest of the armor is Crusader, purely for HP, Encore ability, and spell damage resistance, because chestplate gives Encore, arms and legs give health, The only reason I run the Crystal Storm helmet is because it gives health regeneration, and I believe the helmet for the Crusader armor does not. Also, it's higher defense and gives electro damage resistance, so why not? But yeah, I have Encore for healing after defeating an enemy, and then I have the Shroud of the Spectral Mage to boost my mana pool and give me mana regen. I wear whatever ring fits the situation, other than, you know, defense mode. I wear the Ring of Binding for some extra leech. And then if you look at the stats, I have Constitution at 85. With the sword and all the armor, that's just under 2 grand HP. Like I said, you still need the defense spell against the dragon, as you saw, or you will die. I have 80 strength with the ring I have equipped right now, but technically I run 68 strength base. I run 42 base intelligence, and I run 48 wisdom. And dex and agility are technically supposed to say 10, but the ring is making dex go up. For talents, I run sword expert, I run commander, I run adrenaline rush, determination, chain attacks, tank mode, so every source of healing keeps me even more healed. And I run eternal rage instead of hardened armor, so that way I can keep my DPS up while still being a tank. This class can use other weapons, but the weapon that it's meant to use is the sword because of the mana regen and absorber, helping you stay alive and keep your mana up for being a magic-based class. The swords also provide you with a crap ton of health. For spells, I keep Greater Poison Rain, Meteor, Shower, Planetary Strike 2, and, Greater Poison Rain is technically the level 2 spell of Poison Rain. I keep War Cry and the defense spell. Defense spell is purely for the dragon. War Cry is basically for everything else. I have Archmage Heal for the Light King because of the slow pace of the fight and to save on potions. I have Masterwork Lightning, and I have Light Bomb level 2. I always have either War Cry or Deafening Roar in my bar, and I always have Light Bomb level 2. The dragon, I use Masterwork Lightning. For Light King, I use Planetary Strike level 2. And for the worm, I use Greater Poison Rain for the hard mode worm. The reason I have Meteor Shower is because it works better than Poison Rain during the first level of defense for the Druid DLC. And it is purely in my inventory to be in this second spell slot for the first one, which I believe is called Bitterroot. But after you leave Bitterroot and either go on to Fallen Town or the third place, which I think has Mine in the name, but I don't remember the rest of it, you want to run Poison Rain because it does better than the Meteor spell. Because in the second one and the third one, they boost the amount of dark type element enemies, so this is going to do a lot less for you. Also, for those who care, when you run defense and you have to run traps, me and RPGs, or I should say me, because I was placing the traps at the time, I decided on the mine level to run light traps and poison traps for the boss, and only run the initial 2 ice traps to slow it down when it leaves the panel. And every single time me and RPGs have run that setup with poison and light traps for the third hard mode defense boss, it dies without us noticing, because it does so much damage getting it to where it's going before we get to him. Literally, we've had to hit him like once or twice and he'll die when we get to him. So it's a very efficient setup to not just run light, but also run the poison lights, the poison traps as well on the third defense. Yeah, so I guess that's the end of the Portal Knight stream for today. Like I said, I gotta check with RPGs, see what happened today. I will be back in probably at most 10 to 15 minutes, and I will stream a little bit of World of Final Fantasy to make up for the fact that today was a very small and slow Portal Knight stream. So, hopefully whoever has been here and is still here, I will see you back on stream in about 10 to 15 minutes or so. If not, I'll catch you at another stream, but have a good night, and thanks for following or at least watching while you've been here. Alright, see you in a bit.